Just 1 month after an officer-involved shooting in Akron, police are now releasing the body cam footage. We have the news conference straight ahead.
Election safety is on the minds of many as the race for the White House heats up. How Portage County is keeping your vote safe and secure.
Near whiteout conditions here on Kent campus as the National Weather Service has extended a winter weather advisory for Northeast Ohio. How much snow can we expect and how will that affect your travel plans? Coming up next.
This is TV2 News.
Multiple vehicles were involved in weather-related crashes this afternoon. Good evening, Kent State and all of Portage County. I'm Shaquiena Davis.
And I'm Gajda. After dealing with ice for 2 days, whiteout conditions were common in Portage County. Kyle, what's it look like outside?
I am Kyle Miller out here outside of Rockwell Hall, and during the snow conditions right now, we have heavy snowfall after the National Weather Service has just issued a new winter weather advisory, saying a possible 3 inches of lake effect snow in areas around the Kent, Akron, and Cleveland area. Now, this will last until about 10 p.m. tonight, causing potential delays on highways with travel plans as you go home from work. Now, as I stand out here currently, 30 degrees, but it feels like 16 degrees with a 12-mile-an-hour wind that we have. The snow will take a slight break at around 6:30 to 7, but may continue starting at 9 and heading into the night. We can expect to see about 27 degrees at 8 o'clock and extending past midnight into tomorrow morning. And looking into the weekend and early next week, we will continue to see some snow, sleet, and even rain every single day with the temperature in the high 30s to mid-20s. With TV2 News, I'm Kyle Miller. Back to you.
Multiple vehicles and a part of bus collided on South Lincoln Street near East Summit on the edge of campus. The accident closed Lincoln, all due to the hazardous weather this afternoon.
Yeah, there were no injuries, but street conditions remain slippery due to snowfall and freezing temperatures. More snow is possible tomorrow with continued cold and cloudy conditions.
After months of construction, the elevator in McGilvery Hall is finally complete. Signs were hung throughout the building to direct people to the new structure. An email was sent to students saying not to use the old elevator. Faculty warned students to use the stairs in case of a fire.
And Rockwell Hall on Kent State's campus was evacuated this morning after a fire alarm malfunctioned and went off. Captain William Myers of the City of Kent Fire Department said the cause was probably oversensitivity on the part of the alarm, which he said was unusual. Myers said the Kent Fire Department will follow up to prevent the malfunction from happening again.
With the help from a couple of Kent State professors, 40 youths within the Summit County Juvenile Court were taught how to make prosthetic hands for children in Central America. The program lasted for 3 weeks during the summer, which 2 KSU professors received a $20,000 grant to cover the cost of the program. Officials say this taught the juveniles about trauma that comes with losing a limb and hope.
Now, police in Akron were under scrutiny for a deadly officer-involved shooting earlier this year.
Yes, and our reporter Halee Sepulveda has more on the story. Halee?
Thanks, guys. The Akron Police Department held a press conference this morning to clarify the details of that January 7th incident. Officials revealed body cam footage taken by officers in the fatal shooting of 19-year-old Elijah Cade.
Turn the car off! Turn the car off!
Akron Chief of Police Kenneth Ball released footage of an officer-involved shooting that took place last month.
Attempted to stop a vehicle that was traveling westbound on Russell Avenue. The initiation of the stop was for no visible license plate.
The driver was later learned to be 19-year-old Elijah Cade, who was wanted for a parole violation after committing a burglary.
Cade chose not to stop for the officer's lights and audible siren. He created a risk to himself and to the public. This is an offense of failure to comply with an order or signal of a police officer for which he has been indicted.
Ball told the press that officers then notified the dispatch center that the vehicle would not comply and that the vehicle had sped up to a speed of 90 miles per hour. It was soon after that the vehicle crashed and police were able to get out and investigate. Upon approaching the vehicle, officers found that Cade was conscious. The suspect attempted to run from the officers despite verbal orders. 2 officers reported that the suspect mentioned a gun. Officers fired 5 shots in total, 2 of which hit Cade. It was later found that the suspect was unarmed at the time of the shooting.
Officers were forced to make a split-second decision in tense, uncertain, and rapidly evolving encounter.
Critics say that this incident is yet another example of police brutality. However, the Akron City Police Department has released this body cam footage from the scene in hopes to give more clarity to the community about the death of Elijah Cade and the incidents that occurred on the night of January 7th.
That misinformation is damaging to our entire community. So in this particular situation, the decision was made that we would have this released today and allow the public access to the parts of this investigation that we don't believe are compromising.
Chief Ball says that the department is working to maintain the trust of the community they serve. For TV2 News, I'm Halee Sepulveda.
Thank you, Haley. The Cuyahoga County Board of Health has confirmed 2 more flu-related deaths. A 47-year-old man from Lakewood and a 73-year-old man from Olmsted Township both passed away earlier this week. This brings the total of deaths in the county to 8 this flu season. The typical median of flu deaths in a season is 5. The Cuyahoga County Board of Health encourages everyone who has not received a flu vaccine to do so.
150-plus Northeast Ohio schools close as the weather condition worsens. After dealing with icy weather conditions, snow continues to increase. Several inches of snow is expected to pile up throughout the day, with lake-effect snow coming in later today. There will be updates from local news sources as the winter storm develops.
161 workers in Lorain County will find themselves out of a job as early as April. Macy's has announced it will shut down its corporate offices in San Francisco, as well as 2 in Ohio, in Cincinnati, and Lorain. Closures are expected between early to mid-April. Macy's also plans to close 125 stores, including 1 in Stowe and 2 others in Ohio. And a former St. Edward's wrestling coach was arraigned earlier today on sexual assault charges in Cleveland. 30-year-old Daniel Gonser was allegedly assaulted 2 teenage student athletes from 2015 to 2019, He faces 20 charges, including rape, sexual battery, and endangering children. Gonser's bond has been set at $10,000.
Man is facing multiple charges after recording a woman and teens in a bathroom of his home in Henrietta Township and another in an Erie County home. Investigators say 30-year-old Paul Churchill is currently held at the Lorain County Jail on a $70,000 bond. This is an ongoing investigation, and additional charges are expected to be presented to a grand jury for both cases. And a 72-year-old Ravenna woman was indicted on misdemeanor charges after killing a Rootstown man. Former Theodore Roosevelt High School teacher Mitchell Lambert was riding his bike during the summer of 2019 when the woman allegedly struck him with her car. Now the woman is facing multiple misdemeanors, vehicular homicide, and manslaughter. Her next court date is February 27th at the Ravenna Municipal Court.
Maybe Super Bowl champions, but the TV2's agenda has the latest on the Puppy Bowl.
But when we return, we'll have what you need to know about the upcoming elections and what officials are doing to ensure a secure security breach.
And we're seeing a slight pause in the snowfall, but what are the chances we see some flurries late tonight? Stay tuned for my full forecast.
Kent State's Spring Internship, Co-op, and Career Fair will be held on February 20th from 11 a.m. till 3 p.m. in the Student Recreation and Wellness Center. This event is open to all students, all majors, all Kent State campuses, and all alumni that are seeking internships, co-ops, full-time, part-time, and on-campus student employment opportunities. For more information about the drop-in sessions, schedule, or the career fair, please visit kent.edu/career or register in the Handshake app.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back. Election security has been a divisive political topic in recent years. As the 2020 election approaches, voting officials here in Ohio are doing everything they can to ensure the security of our elections. Our reporter Welleed El-mobasher has more. Welleed?
Thanks, guys. With many Americans worried about the upcoming elections after the Iowa caucus, Ohio and Portage County, with the help of Homeland Security, has managed to stay on top by adding new security service protocol. The state received funding through the Help America Vote Act's HAVA grant. Portage County Board of Elections Deputy Director Teresa Nielsen says that Portage County directly benefits from the grant.
Every state in the U.S. could ask for HAVA funds for cybersecurity purposes. We're one of the only states where that HAVA money actually made it to the local entities.
Will help ensure the security of future elections, including the upcoming Ohio primary and 2020 presidential election.
It really just kind of locks us as a department down, shields us off from not only other departments in the county, but also from nefarious actors who may want to somehow try and get into our system.
The Iowa caucus left some voters fearful about the security and reliability of the election process. According to a C-SPAN poll in October 2019, only 31% of Americans believe the government does enough to keep our elections secure. After security threats in 2016 presidential election and elections here in Ohio, Portage County Board of Elections is working to ensure that the elections are defended technologically as well as ethically.
I think there's a thought process that it won't happen to us, but it happened in Akron. It happened in Wayne County. I mean, it's happening in other localities, and so we've just taken extraordinary measures to make sure it doesn't happen here in Portage County.
Although changes have been made behind the scenes, voters can continually do what they always do, showing up to the polls and casting their vote.
The security of our election system hasn't really changed. I mean, the tabulation system, what the normal voter is going to see, also has not changed. We have just done things with our internal networks to make them they're more secure, to keep people out.
The Ohio primary elections takes place on March 17th. For TV2 News, I'm Welleed El-mobasher.
Antarctica's temperatures are rising and has reached its hottest temperature Thursday. The country's meteorological agencies say the temperature was nearly 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Many believe the Antarctic region is heating up due to heat-trapping gas pollution caused by humans. This is said to cause serious global consequences to the sea level rise, and these warm ocean waters are causing large glaciers to melt.
And the southeast United States is recovering from a number of tornadoes and storms that brought heavy rain. In Mississippi, a tornado caused major damage in Jackson County. In Florida, storms caused a plane to crash in St. Petersburg, where thankfully no injuries were reported. And in Atlanta, the world's busiest airport, saw widespread delays yesterday.
Welcome back, Portage County. I'm happy to be back inside, and hopefully you do the same. Currently 26 degrees with some snow, even though we are seeing a slight pause right now. Feels like 19 degrees with a 9-mile-an-hour wind. It is pretty bone chilling, but will that snow continue? As you can see on the radar, we are on the tail end of it. A little bit of lake effect snow coming off of Lake Erie, heading to the east toward New Jersey. And as we look on to tomorrow, a little bit of snow early in the day, just a little bit more of that lake effect snow that will lead to overcast skies later in the day. Some light winds, 6 miles an hour, going off to a 5:51 sunset. And looking at the 7-day forecast, like we said, heavy snow today. Snow early on Saturday, like we just said, but on Sunday, we will get to see some of that sun. Just a little bit of time to possibly get outside and enjoy with that warmer 37 degrees. Going to 39 on Monday with some clouds, and later in the week, a little bit of sun again. We'll take it while we can get it. And going to cloudy on 24 with a bone-chilling 12 degrees. Now, with the current conditions outside, we would like to remind you to drive safe anywhere you have to go. That's all I have for now. With TV2 News, I'm Kyle Miller.
Thanks, Kyle. As the Democratic presidential race continues, much uncertainty arises as to who is ready to take on their role. The candidates seem to be facing their own issues in the race, which is raising many doubts about their different capabilities. So far, former South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg leads 1/10 over Senator Bernie Sanders. But 7 leading Democratic candidates will get another chance to win over a national audience tonight.
Yeah, that's right, Shaquiena. The top Democratic candidates will meet tonight in New Hampshire for the 8th Democratic debate.
And tonight's debate is scheduled to start at 8 p.m. and will be televised on ABC. TV2 will have coverage of the debate on Monday.
And the Virginia House has voted to remove Lee Jackson Day from the state's list of recognized holidays. The holiday honored Confederate Generals Stonewall Jackson and Robert E. Lee and has been on the state's calendar for over 100 years. In its place, a bill has been proposed that would offer Virginians Election Day off instead. And in Alaska, 5 fatalities have been confirmed after a plane crash. The small commuter plane went down in western Alaska early this morning. The National Transportation Safety Board are investigating, and all scheduled flights in the area have been temporarily grounded.
The House of Representatives approved a $4.7 billion relief package for Puerto Rico Friday. The funds provided are to help with recovery after multiple earthquakes hit the U.S. territory. This legislation includes funding for community development, block grants, road repairs, schools, and energy, along with tax breaks for residents. Officials say the bill is less likely to pass in the Republican-held Senate, and President Trump threatened to veto it if it does. And many economists were surprised after the U.S. experienced another month of strong job growth in January. The U.S. Labor Department say wages rose 3.1% as employers added 225,000 positions. Consumer satisfaction is on the rise as well with their personal finances. As President Trump is up for re-election this year, his address on this issue could help him in his campaign.
The devastating disaster that has occurred in Turkey has left more people dead and many injured. We'll have more coming up.
More different not just sports teams are in action this weekend, but stay tuned to find out which team could not take the field.
Every one of us has a voice, and every voice has the power to shape the world. Ours is no different. Our voice is 85 years in the making, a voice that's more than 700 students strong, one of the largest in the nation. It's 10 different award-winning media partners sharing 34 outlets, all working united toward a common goal. Our voice reaches 30,000 households on TV, over 22,000 magazine readers per year, 500,000 newspapers, feature films in stores nationwide. Our voice is pride in what we do. It empowers students, emerging professionals, to ask tough questions and demand answers. We believe in our voice. We believe in its ability to change the world. And our voice makes us who we are.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate, and it's worn like a badge of honor with good reason. Because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
A massive praise was held for a young doctor who died after being reprimanded for warning about China's coronavirus.
And people are furious that communist authorities put politics above public safety. The public believes officials lied and hid information about the disease outbreak and more. Officials say the 34-year-old doctor died at the Wuhan Central Hospital where he possibly caught the virus while treating patients.
Just don't feel like we're safe. If they're really concerned and worried, we should be quarantined in a sanitary environment that's safe, not on a cruise ship that's already infected. Donald Trump, save us. Get us a government-based airplane.
And the Wuhan virus continues to spread outside of China, and now there are 61 people quarantined on a cruise ship in Yokohama, Japan. Health officials began screening the people on board after one passenger tested positive for the virus. Earlier today, a sign was shown hanging from the ship that read, "Medicine lacking."
And the death toll from the eastern Turkey avalanches have risen to 41 Thursday. The first avalanche killed 5 people Tuesday, and the Turkish disaster agencies say 84 people were left injured after the second avalanche. 47 of those people remain hospitalized and 6 people in intensive care. Officials say controlled explosions were set off to trigger less destructive avalanches.
And now, your TV2 Sports Report.
Hello, my name is Michael Reiner, and this is your TV2 Sports Report. Kent State lacrosse was scheduled to start their season this afternoon against Cincinnati until this massive winter storm came through. The game that was originally scheduled for 3 p.m. today has been rescheduled for March 8th. The Flashes are coming off a 2-win inaugural season last year. Sophomore Abby Jones led the Flashes last season with 52 points, and she is looking to make an impact again this season. On Wednesday, the Flashes will play their first match in Columbus against the Buckeyes of The Ohio State University. Game time is at 7 p.m. And some positive news in Kent State athletics. Kent State softball won their season opener today in Athens, Georgia against the University of North Carolina, Wilmington. The Flashes jumped out to a 3-0 lead in the third inning. Then they got to a 5-3 win with the help of Sabrina Kirshner, who had 3 hits and 2 runs. Annalise Kelly pitched 3 scoreless innings of relief. The Flashes' next game is a big one tomorrow night against number 16 Georgia Bulldogs. And the Flashes men's basketball team is on the road tonight in Northern Illinois. The Flashes lost their last outing at home against Ball State on Tuesday, and they led by double digits in the first half. But they ended up squandering the lead. Philip Winnington at 18 points and 7 rebounds in the loss. The Flashes lost earlier in the season to the Huskies 76-69 on January 21st. Game time is at 7 p.m. on CBS Sports. And the Flashes women's team is in action on the road as well this weekend as they take on Ohio University tomorrow afternoon. The Flashes are coming off a huge win Wednesday night at home against Bowling Green, 61-47. Lindsey Thal led the Flashes with 19 points and 7 boards. Asia Dingle had 16 points. The Flashes are looking to improve to 6-4 in the MAC East. Game time tomorrow in Athens is at 1 p.m. And it's the best time of the semester. My Reiner Rundown is back. My top 3 sports to watch this weekend. And one question is, are you ready for some football? It's the XFL as the Seattle Dragons take on former Ohio State quarterback Cardale Jones and the DC Defenders. Jones' first start at quarterback since he won the national championship for the Buckeyes. Then we have the best rivalry in college sports as number 7 Duke heads to Chapel Hill to face the University of North Carolina. Finally, UFC 247 as John Jones returns to the octagon to take on the undefeated Dominic Reyes. And now, 2 teams neck and neck in the NHL as the Penguins and Lightning were in action last night. And things started off rough for the Penguins, but first, the Penguins lost 4-2, but a rough game for the Penguins. And that's all for sports. Make sure to tune in to Sports Corner on Monday, and Overtime is on KentWire.com.
Well, still to come, what one local Ohio city is doing to bring customers into their stores. Stick with us.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
It's not my first time bartending, so.
It's a sausage party in here.
It's fine. I'm very familiar.
Yeah, Because you're a sexy girl, Sam. Last thing, totally last thing.
Yeah.
Is that the music, when Momo kicks it into high gear, is gonna get a little bit loud in here. So your customers are gonna have a hard time hearing you. So you may want to.
What?
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
Welcome back. Now the Super Bowl may be over, but the agenda has highlights from the big one. That's right, the Puppy Bowl.
You all know about the big game this past Sunday. The big athletic tournament where the players got the ball and did the sports, but what you may not be aware of is that at the same time, another game was being broadcast. Not one with human players, though. This one was sported up by a bunch of puppers, and it's called the Puppy Bowl, and teens across the nation are hooked. Here to give us the rundown is Agenda's resident, whatever his title is, Riley Walton.
Thank you, Mikey.
Might I say, you look very fancy today.
You might, but will you?
No.
Very well. As my associate mentioned, this past Sunday was the 16th annual Puppy Bowl. Here are the highlights. Ladies and gentlemen, the 16th annual Puppy Bowl. Oh, look at them. This past year, they're called Fluff and Rough. That's a oh, look at him jump. Oh, he's got a snack. He's getting touchdown. Oh, he did it. He did. Oh, you're gonna get him. You're gonna get him. You're gonna get him. What's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? Oh, I'm focused on their little faces, and I'm focused on their bellies that need rubbing. Just rub a tub all over their bellies. Oh, he got his handkerchief. Oh, what's a dog? What's a toy? They don't know because they're puppies.
Now, I may be a little biased, but that is a good show right there, the agenda.
Yeah, you know, I couldn't tell you who won that game, but they all look like winners to me.
Yes.
Absolutely. I'll take them all in myself. But today does not seem like a day if you're going to take your dog out for a walk. Because if you take a look outside again, a lot of snow on the ground, causing some danger with driving. A couple accidents right outside of Franklin Hall, actually. But luckily for us, that snow isn't going to last forever. We will see a little bit early on Saturday, but going into the rest of the week, we do get the chance to see a little bit of sun. I'm looking forward to that.
Thanks, Kyle. Thank you for joining us this Friday evening.
Tune in tomorrow at 10 for an all-new episode of The College Voice. I'm Jacob Gajda.
And I'm Shaquiena Davis. From all of us here at TV2, have a great weekend and stay warm, Portage County.
Strawberries?
Okay.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.